All right, wake up. Wake up. It's Sunday morning. I know it's after 12. It's still morning. Huh? It's cold in here, too. It had warmed up a little bit for a couple of days, and I got cold again. So that's what you get in February, March here. It's just like cold, hot, cold. Not hot, but like it was almost 60 degrees the other day. How's everybody doing? Bucks Rays. Appreciate that being a member, buddy. Much appreciated. Oh, was that a basketball trade? I don't pay attention. Is that I've seen a couple people talking about that, but I don't know nothing from nothing there. Let me blow up the chat so I can see. Okay, yeah, my eyes are fried today. My eyes are useless today. It should be a good day. Hey, Metal says the Islanders are starting a goalie who's never played an NHL game, but not many things scare me. But that sends a shiver down my spine. What was the scores last night? I did not look up the scores again. Let's see. How did the Islanders do last night? Oh, they beat the Lightning in overtime. Oh, they should be good and tired. They should be good and tired. Yeah. All right. Good for them. Hey, Dave. Am I late? I'm my normal 2 minutes late. I wasn't late. It's 2 minutes. It's the 2 minute warning. Hey, Steven. We dominated a game without Mackey. Hopefully he's just hopefully he gets better soon enough. If he was out sick yesterday, I doubt he's going to play today, right? So I don't know if he must be hanging out with Barkov, getting sick, right? I also now won 7 in a row. That's a good number. 7 is enough. That's usually how the winning streaks start to end. Is they win, and then they win the last game of the streak in overtime or the shootout, and then they lose the next game. So I think we got the good end of that deal. Hey, Kyle's awake. Hey. Steven, yeah, Dave, good win last night. We got 0 help. All the Atlantic teams at least got a point. Yeah, that's okay. Bucks Rays, man, I don't know anything about the NBA, but I don't know anything about the NBA, unfortunately. I used to. Vincent says they took the kid to the strip club. Probably. They probably took it. It would sound like Barkov and Chucky to take Mackey to the strip club to celebrate what appears to be his permanent promotion to the second line there. And they probably got the kid sick. Hey, Adonis. Everything broke last night, Colin. I think I seen somebody on Twitter describe it as though if the Oilers traded Connor McDavid for Hellebuck, does that sound about right? I seen somebody on Twitter describe the basketball trade that way. Tim says, is it the playoffs yet? We need games that matter. We're spoiled now. It's true. It is very, very true. Right? Which is why, you want them to you want the games to be fun, right? It's bad enough that we know the games don't count till mid-April. Then it's worse if the team doesn't play well. Donnie says the Oilers are facing reality. They need a goalie at the deadline. Yeah, I saw that, Steven. Yeah. Adam Boquist goal on it. Yeah, he scored in his first game. Yep. We'll see what happens today, right? So, Steven, you're saying, yeah, that's like that trade analogy makes sense. Damn. Well, we'll give the Oilers. I mean, we'll give them Spencer Knight, but it's going to cost them McDavid and Draisaitl all salary retained. That seems like a fair deal. They can have their goalie of the future. We'll win another 2 or 3 cups. We'll extend Bob. And then at some point, Knight can take over for the Oilers when we're done winning cups. I'm down with that. but they got to retain the salary. That's the only problem. Who says no? Huh? Who says no? It's a good deal for them, right? We'll throw in Bournefoot. All right, we'll throw in Bournefoot, Oilers fans. It's a good deal. Oh, yeah, Metal says the last 2 games were fun. It felt like last year's Panthers a bit. Little bit. I mean, 1 goal in 2 games. Right? Spencer Knight's got his work cut out for him in terms of keeping it going, right? Swerve says the cup doesn't belong in the sand. What's that, 4 years straight? How many years straight? How many years? Well, no, Vegas. It was 2 and then Vegas and then 2, right? I believe that was it. Donna says, I think the Oilers would go for John Gibson. Playoff experience, having a great year, and helps the Ducks offload the contracts, veteran like they did with Fowler, right? Probably. That doesn't. But will a team in the Western Conference really want to help them out? But it's the Ducks, like it matters to them, right? It's not like Gibson is going to be around another 10 years by the time the Ducks are good. Tim says, now with the cap going up so much, how much of a steal do the Forsing and Lundell contracts are? Zito has set us up perfectly for the next 5 years. Yep. Agreed there. You can pay Bennett. Of course, honestly, now with those numbers, don't be surprised if Ekblad stays too, right? Don't be surprised. Because Bennett's already making, you could give Bennett's already making 6, right? Am I correct there? Let me see that. The point being, Sam Bennett contract. Or is he making 4? Yeah, he's making 4.5, right? So, 4.5, less than 5. So you could give him, 4.425. You could give Bennett like 6, and it's not even that big of a raise on the cap now, right? Dave says, I turned on your game stream and turned out the game is already played. Vincent says, Schmidt is an embarrassment, though. I cannot even imagine what Zito is looking for. There's not much out there in the market. Well, I can say what? Connor Murphy wasn't extraordinarily impressive last night. So scratch him off the list. It wasn't like he was bad. Tim, you think Ekblad 3 times 7? Craig, are you talking? Is that your Bennett contract 6x6? I do that. I would do that. Metal says start him at 6. Don't go higher than 6.5. Yeah. Ekblad 3 times 7. I mean, it's a pay cut. But if you're only doing 3, I'd do that. I would do that. I mean, I know that's high for what we wanted to pay Ekblad, but I mean, to replace the dude, it works. You can say everything you want about Ekblad, it works, right? So why fuss with it? Great White says, why do I think Bob still has the 1 goal jitters, meaning he always gives up the first 97% of the time? I think he just likes giving me something to bitch about. He knew I didn't have a really good, solid intro. The room is bugged. The recap room is bugged. Before the game, I said out loud, I don't really have a good intro, so I'm going to wait. Bob heard that, passed on the message to the team, 5-hole, 7 seconds in. Perfect. Gave me an intro. Hey, JC, you're fighting a fever? Sorry, man. I did that a little bit last week. Sorry, bud. Swerve says we pay Trenton $4 million. Much rather have Bennett on the team. Yeah, Bennett suddenly woke up, right? I says if Bennett wants more money, he can open up a Cameo account like Reinhardt, and we can get him to do a video for the channel. I gotta get rich. I just want to get rich just enough so that the Panther players that are on Cameo, I can force them to say what I want. Oh man, JC, that sucks. So we have more snow there in Minnesota. Well, I'm in Maryland. Are you talking about the dudes in Florida and the Panhandle, or in Maryland? We didn't get. My sister lives in Pensacola. They got more snow than we did in Maryland. Exactly. Craig says, plus giving up the early goal woke the Cats up to be crazy buzzing and pelting the Hawks goalie. It was like 40 shot attempts in the first period. Swerve. Yeah, so I live in Maryland. We live in Maryland. That's a long story. I grew up in South Florida. I lived in Florida. All the kids were born in Florida. But we had a St. Bernard, passed away in July, moved to Maryland for him, and just not leaving. You got a ton of autographs, JC. What at practice? At practice, or you mean what? Where were you? Chopper says Swiggy scored last night. How I think his liver is. Everybody's starting to look just a little bit better, right? But again, both times we had 2 days off. Now, that kind of does show that maybe less than holding back and coasting, maybe they've just been kind of tired from the schedule. If you look at the March schedule, there's going to be a lot of fishing going on in March. I know April we finish off the season not all that bad, but March's schedule, we have 2 days off. We have another 2 days off. We have a 3-day period without games, and we have a 4-day period without games in March. The March schedule is really light. There's only there's 2 back-to-backs, but in between that, we've got a lot of time off, especially we play back-to-back 22nd, 23rd, Washington, Pittsburgh, away and home. And then we've got 4 days off until we play Utah on the 28th. So March, we should be able to gear up, really. Let me scroll up and see a couple of things I missed. I says that I hear that Bennett launched Bennett's Buddies. Every time he scores this season, he will cover the adoption fees of a pet from the Humane Society, and he scored the next game. Yeah, he's a good dude. Tim says, I'd like to get a player like Felino, Maroon, Achari for the fourth line, and a cheap, big stay-at-home veteran D. Yeah, I've been banging the table for Achari for a month now. That he would be the perfect addition. We need a center, whether it be an upgrade over Nosek or a guy that's right off the bench. Last year we had Okposo and Lorentz, and right now we got Jack Squat. In terms of off the bench, you'd have to call up Giles. So we need to do something. And Pittsburgh, we will get Achari for free practically. Steven says, can't believe Erod made 12 goals before the Hags did. Oh, before Swaggy, right? Hey, thank you, Great White. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Great White. Appreciate that, brother. He said, Bob wants Jaws to work for his super chats. I appreciate that, Great White. Thank you, man. So Sabrina says, last night when I loosely mentioned Marchand coming to the team, I literally gagged. I can't say it with a straight face either, Sabrina, but just the thought of that line, I don't want it to happen. I love Sam Miskevich. I hope he stays with Bennett and Kachuk for another 7 years before those two dudes get too old. But just the thought of a Bennett, Marchand, Kachuk line, that's just the thought of that. That would be it'd be good for the channel. I'm not gonna lie, it'd be good for content. There'd be serious content like with that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Sabrina, I can't say it with a straight face. I know it'll never happen, but boy, I'd like to watch the movie of it happening. You know what I mean? Greg, King Ratline. Yep, Bennett, Marchand, Chucky. Yeah, it would be a lot of penalty minutes, right? Most hated line in the telling you, man. That would be something else. He's going to be a free agent, right? So I'm not saying nothing, right? Metal says Stenlin's making the same as Achari. Yeah, but can we get Stenlin? Well, Achari, does he have term? I know Stenlin got 2 years, right? Nosek is okay. I feel bad bitching about the guy because I know he's given effort, right? He's gotten better in the face-off circle, and it's not like he's allowing goals. So there's that, right? He just doesn't have the dynamic presence. Eyes says former Panther Nick Cousins underwent knee surgery and is expected to miss at least a couple of months. Yeah, I feel bad for him, man. Cousins got the shaft. All due respect to Pozo and everybody else. Cousins should have been on the ice game 7, right? You know, I feel bad for the dude. I mean, yeah, he won the cup, so I don't feel that bad. But he was a big part of the team's identity. And Pozo just comes in and is kind of like, well, because I'm the veteran dude, I'm going to be on, I'm going to be on the ice. It is what it is. Steven says, too much bad blood between Bennett and March. I don't think so. Probably not. I mean, they're competitive guys. I'm sure that they could, what goes on the ice is different from off the ice, right? When you're competitive with dudes on the ice, doesn't necessarily mean that you hate them off ice, right? On the plus side, if we play Ottawa round one, with Jaws is worried about there'll be no Nick Cousins. Well, how many is it supposed to be? 2 months? So if he's out February, March, he'd have 2.5 months. We could end up with a fresh Nick Cousins if we played Ottawa round one. Kevin says tonight should be really interesting with the Islanders fighting for a playoff spot, and then we have the Capitals on Tuesday. But we're playing well at the right time. We've had some rest now, right? We have some hockey to play this week. There's Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, I think, is the end, and then we got the break. So to me, it kind of feels like I could be totally making this up in my head, but it kind of feels like Maurice kind of looked at this bit of time before the break and told the guys, hey, why don't we play like ourselves and give full effort and just kind of do a little bit of a tune-up, a little bit of a just testing of the engine, make sure it still works and all of that. And we could be in worse shape considering, we're looking for defensemen, but we only gave a 1 goal in 2 games. JC says, I flew in with my hockey gear to play a game tonight, but I'm not sure that would be wise. Well, if you got a fever, man, it's going to go one of 2 ways, JC. It's either the fever's going to break during the game and you'll get a burst of energy, or you won't. And if you won't, you're likely to pass out on the ice, right? I said, sorry, I'm used to the Paul Maurice injury timetable. That's true. Dave, you want to jump into the chat by using your phone. But that talk to text, right? If you use talk to text, then you can get some really good mistakes. That sucks, JC. Where'd you go, man? Or did you go down? Where did you go? I says the cold should help with the fever. No, you actually want heat. When I get a fever, I take a niacin and I go in the sauna, and you just overheat your body because the fever is the body heating up to try to kill the virus. So I help it out. I take a niacin, which opens up all my blood vessels and my arteries and the capillaries and all that happy horse shit. And then I get into the sauna and I just sweat and just 80% of the time that'll break the fever for me. Tim says, what do I think McDavid and Marner will get as contracts? McDavid might get 20 now. Well, Draisaitl got 14, right? When's it? How many more years does he have? And Marner, like, will Toronto pay him or move him? Like, if they can't win, like if Toronto goes another year and can't win, will they do like we did with Huberdeau and say, well, these guys, this is not the deal. Barkov, Huberdeau, we're not, we had to change this, right? What if they moved Marner and they took Marchand, although Marchand's a little bit too old to be building around. JC, you're in Miami? All right. What's the weather down there? It's not super hot right now, right? Right? When does Colin says just give Adam Boquist the goal for tonight? I say let's take advantage of his exuberance and his excitement. We already saw him when he played. He tried to do a little bit too much, right? So he's going to come in tonight against us and try to even do too much, more too much. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get worse. So I say we take advantage of it. If Samoskevich can get well and get back out on the ice, he's got the speed to get around him. It's hot and humid, JC. Ugh. Somebody once described living in South Florida perfectly. It was Elena, a good friend, good fan of the channel. She said, living in South Florida, this is what it feels like. Go take a hot shower. We'll take a really, really hot shower. Don't dry off and put your clothes on. And that's what it's like living down there in Miami. Tim says -10 in Maine. It's like 35. We're going to get 55 tomorrow. We're going to get 55 here. -10, that's cold. That's cold. JC facts. It is, man. Great White says, when Spencer's contract is up, you think he'll try to get a number one starting job with another team? No. He's an RFA. He ain't going anywhere. No, wait. No, he's not an RFA. Excuse me. Or is he still an RFA? I was thinking about Samoskevich. But no, Spencer shouldn't be an RFA at this point, right? Right? He's not going anywhere. We've invested too much. We've invested too much in him. But remember, who asked that question? Great, right? Remember, Bob and Spencer's contracts are up at the same time. So the assumption would be either Bob's going to retire, or at worst, they would go and do like an Olmark Swayman split with Bob taking a pay cut and Knight being the beneficiary of that. Vincent says, Marner for Huberdeau, what's the point? Right? Right. I don't know that I would pay Marner all that money. He's still an RFA? Okay, so then, yeah, he ain't going anywhere. Yeah. I mean, somebody might. I would like to see the deal get done before the possibility of an offer sheet get put out there, especially with how well he's played. But, you got to have that conversation with Bob. It's very interesting how this year we have to figure out between Bennett and Ekblad, and then next year it's going to be Bob and Spencer, right? So, and if Bob's wife keeps popping out kids, he may just be forced to retire, to stay home and help her take care of kids. Although I guess you can afford help, right? Hey, Impatient, how you doing, bud? Yeah, the hot and humid. We don't get overly humid here all that much, but sometimes I wish we did, because we will usually get somewhere in the first couple of weeks of July here in Maryland, we'll get about a 10-day stretch where like every day is just like 97 to like 100, 101 and just bone dry. Usually the fishing is really good leading up to that. And then when that happens, then you got to start getting out to the deeper water because the fish get too damn hot. Traditional Russian family, Chopper says. Right, good point. Yeah, Bob will have to keep working to afford all the babies. I wonder if he's going to be. If I wonder if he's going to stick around and be the goalie coach, right? Can you imagine having Luongo and Bobrovsky on the staff as your goalie coaches and mentors, right? Chopper says, "Let my bro breed while he's still got it." Well, is it two daughters? I didn't hear if he had a son, because if it's two daughters, he's likely to keep trying until he gets a boy, right? Somebody, I don't remember. I thought the first one was a girl, and I assume I didn't hear the second one. I didn't see a post about it. But if he's got two girls, he's likely to keep trying until he gets a boy. I got lucky. I got the boy right up front. And then I was like, I'm good. And then my ex cried. And so that's how the rest of the kids got born. Yeah, Bob would make a great. Yeah, so you think it's two daughters, right? Yeah, so he's going to keep knocking them out until he gets a boy. My ex had a friend when I met her, and had a friend, that were married, 6 daughters. 6. Couldn't make boys. Couldn't make a boy. I think 6 is where they stopped trying. Hey, Mike says, what players do I want to see for a Panthers Rangers alumni game? We've talked about this when the Winter Classic was announced. What I want, Mike, is I want Yager, and I want a special custom jersey with half Leaping Panthers, half Lady Liberty for the Rangers, because he played on both teams. That's what I want to see. And then he just double shifts. He plays the first period and a half with the first period with the Panthers. Second period he'll play half and half, and then the third period he plays with the Rangers, or some function thereof. Yeah, they'll all be starting goalies in the right in the future. Yeah, six daughters, man. That's right, Cade. You can do that same jersey for Van Beesbrook as well. Yeah, that's true. Yandel as well. Oh, somebody's shooting something out there. Yandel as well, right? Geez, you could probably make a half of a team just on the guys that had played for both. You could probably fill out half of a roster there. Mikula too, Dvorak. All right, so we got a team going here now. We got a goalie, right? Trocheck. That's a good line, Mike. Trocheck with Yager and Dvorak. That's a pretty decent line. I'm just saying, right? Mikula with Yandel with Mikula. That could work. How bad could it be? Right? And Beezer and net. Sure. There's your opening lineup. There's your opening lineup. Yeah, but that if they do an alumni game, that'll be fun. Kyle and I are gonna I'm just putting it out there. Remember how y'all used to ask me when I coming down to visit, and I would just say when the universe throws the money at me, and then Magda contacted me. So I'm just going to continue to say Kyle and I are going to be spending the whole month of January down there next month. We're going to get an Airbnb, and we're going to spend the whole month of January down there. How that's going to happen, I'll just wait for it to show up. But I did figure out one part of how it can happen. If I'm out of this house in January next year, that's like $700-800 or more in electric and oil that I won't be spending. So, I mean, that's at least the flights, right? $800 is the flights and probably the rental car if I'm down there for a month. Yeah. We're going to try to do it, man. We're going to try to do it. So yeah, because then we can go to the Winter Classic, we can go to some games. The content would be different. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do the same thing, but we'll have some guest hosts streaming and everything like that. Dave, yeah, it's true, right? That's how you got to do it. I wonder if they'd let me turn off the internet for a month. I mean, I pay $150 a month for the internet. I wonder if they let me put it on hold. If I put the gym on hold, that's $83. That's another $230 I just saved. Wonder if they'd let me do it. So how am I feeling for tonight's game, Chopper? I feel like the same thing. 4 points this weekend. 4 points. The Islanders are due for a loss. They had to play Tampa. They had to go to overtime. Meanwhile, we had a morning afternoon skate at the park for most of that game. Wasn't really much physicality, although Barkov got cut. I feel good about this. And plus, Spencer Knight's going to want to be able to make sure that he's not the weak link, right? Bob allow 1 goal, 2 games. Spencer Knight needs to go out there. Just give up your 1 goal in the first couple of minutes, because apparently that's the thing. Although Knight's gotten better with that. Knight has gotten better with that this year. It seems to be Bob doing it. 7 seconds in. Jesus. I barely, and it's true. It's just like, because my dad doesn't watch the games on TV. He watches it on the phone. So I tell him when the puck drops so that he can sync it with his phone. And the puck dropped, and I'm like, P-U-C-K, send. And the puck was already in the net. Come on. But that's okay. So I feel good for this game. These are games that we should win, because we've got some doozies coming up, right? We've got an ending to this month. We got not that one. We got the Capitals on Tuesday on the road. We've got the Blues on Thursday on the road, and then we come home for that one last game against the Senators, which that's going to be crazy. By the way, did you see that? What's the dude's name? Hartman? What the dude did last night in Ottawa? Was it last night? I think it was. They need to suspend that dude, man, for more than a couple of games either. But also, I forget which guy it was. The dude should have fought him. The guy from Ottawa should have fought him. He should have just let that be a fight. I'm not condoning what Hartman did, but he was trying to get, the one dude from Ottawa to fight with him, and he wouldn't. And I'm not saying what he did was right, but when you got somebody who's got Hartman's reputation and he wants to fight, it's like you got to know that if you don't fight him, he's going to just continue to escalate the situation, which is what he did. So that's got to be 5 games. I mean, if McDavid got 3 for what he did, that's got to be 5. I don't think 3 is enough, considering his behavior throughout the game, which, obviously was very, very clearly on purpose. I mean, smashing somebody's head into the ice like that, that's not, you can break a guy's neck like that. You can cause a concussion like that. That's not, that's way worse than coming in on a guy, you got your elbow high, or, to me, that's almost maybe even worse than knee on knee. Don't mess with somebody's head, man. That's his living. You know what I mean? These guys are out there, I know they make a ton of money, but believe me, it ain't as much money after taxes and everything else. It's not as much money as you would think. Yeah, exactly, Chopper. Meadow says the first 7 seconds was Murphy's Law. Lose the draw. Schmidt gets beat. D can't catch up. Bob opens his legs, all in 7 seconds. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's what Maurice gets for starting off the game with Schmidt and Balinskis on the ice. Right? I bet you he won't do that again. Why would we start with those guys out on the ice? I don't know. It is what it is. You know, we're looking good shape. So where are we now? Let me see this. I didn't get a chance earlier to look because I had a really nasty headache this morning. Oh, I'm gonna post I'm gonna post something after the podcast, after this stream is over. Somebody, a friend of mine, made me a small painting of Fluffy. I'm gonna take a picture of it and post it to the community board. I've got to do what I said I was going to do last year with getting some proper displays for everything. I've got so much stuff. I'll look at that in a second, Michael. Right. So we've got a 1-point lead on the Leafs. Senators are right there. And then I'm looking at who's the 8th seed today because it changes every day. See the Lightning and then the Jackets. I think the Jackets are going to, I mean, they're won 3 in a row. I think the Jackets might hold on to it. And then there's Boston out. Although they did beat the Rangers last night. That kind of hurts the Rangers' chances. So Michael says, I don't think Bennett likes the way the lines have been shifted. His body language is real bad with Mackey. He was a little happier last night. So actually the opposite of that is 100% true, Michael. After the shutout with the Kings, they interviewed Bennett and, quote, I love playing with that guy because of the special qualities he brings with his energy and speed. And we've got good chemistry, and that chemistry is only going to get better the longer we play together. That's straight out of Bennett's mouth because they asked him about Mackey specifically. So, yeah, there's that. And I didn't like his body language and stuff before that happened. But when Coach moved everything around and said specifically that he wanted Mackey on that line, it's been the 2 games since then, and all of a sudden Bennett woke up. So honestly, I kind of feel Bennett is woken up because Maurice kind of told them we're going to stop screwing around with who's on your left wing, and we're just going to let Mackey sit there and develop chemistry with you. And they, like I said, after the game, they asked Bennett about it. And he didn't smile because, of course, he's never going to smile. But it was good to see. I think he's actually happy that kid is out there because, when he's skating with Tkachuk, when Bennett is skating with Tkachuk, Bennett has to do all the work because he's the one with any wheels. So now you got Mackey out there. He might be faster than Bennett. And that's just going to make Bennett's job that much more easy. Jobber says, with Boquist gone, I think Bournefoot will be our future D. It wouldn't surprise me to see him get a spot next year, but I still think they're going to look for upgrades for the playoff run. Mike says, I got to bring some attention to the national broadcast. Callahan and the other guys were insufferable the entire game. I understand the importance to mention the 7-second goal because it's an original 6, but holy crap, they were annoying. I hear you. Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree, Michael. I think he's looked good the last 2 games. He looks more like himself. And honestly, I think in terms of a guy that's going to do the work and set up Tkachuk and Bennett for goals, I think Samoskevich is better than Verhaeghe. In that realm right now, I think Samoskevich is willing to go in and do a lot more of the work. And with his speed, I honestly feel like it's going to work better than it did with Verhaeghe, although obviously Samo's not going to put the puck in the back of the net as much. Like I said, Adam Boquist helped win the game for the Islanders last night. We traded the wrong D-man. Well, yeah, I mean, he's got offensive ability. The question was when he's on the ice if he could, play defense. Hey, Rosado, that's a good question, Tim. Whatever happened to Sharon Noel? I think we traded him, right? Let's see. I think we traded him I think he was part of a deal that we made at some point. Here, this was from in August. Yeah. Um, he actually signed with the Oilers. He actually signed with the Oilers. I'm reading this. This happened. This happened on my birthday last year. Yeah. They said he was acquired from the Fort Wayne Comets in a multi-team deal, completing the future considerations that's sent defenseman Cameron Suprika to Fort Wayne from Tulsa. So I don't know when we moved him or moved on from him, but yeah, so he's with the Oilers now, but in the AHL. Rosado says drunk woman gets arrested, trespassed, and tasered at Walt Disney World Hotel after attacking her own mother. That's crazy. Yeah, I think I remember wanting to see he's the dude that's huge like a tree, right? I think I remember wanting to see him on because he was like a really big dude. I think that's what I remember. He's 24. Yeah, he's 6'6". Yeah, that's right. Good memory there, Tim. You're right. Yeah. Because I guess he must have played some preseason games for us, and he looked like a freaking Sasquatch on skates. Mike says Bennett's body language looks like Bennett's body language ever since he got here. That's a couple people have told me. It's weird. I started paying attention more to it this year because you're trying to analyze, his POV, right, and the contract and all of that. But I get it, Michael. I get what you're saying about giving the interviews and all of that. But I don't know. Since he kind of woke up and started looking like himself also when we started getting 2 days off in between games. But I think Samoskevich is there in that spot to stay, honestly. Rosado, do I have anything to tell you? No, Rosado, just no. Just no, Rosado. No. But that's okay. It's all right, Rosado. But no. Well, let's just leave it at that, buddy, all right? Michael says, I don't hate Bornfoot. The math and stats don't support him over Adam Boquist. Well, I mean, they got shots at different points in the season, right? Remember last year, Lawrence, when he came in, he didn't look all that great. And then when he came in towards the towards the end of the year and in the playoffs, he looked a lot different. So, I mean, Boquist has to have some talent. He was the 8th overall pick. The only thing that I can think of is that the Panthers needed to make room for incoming. They certainly weren't going to put Boquist out there during the playoffs. You know what I mean? So maybe the whole thing was just about waiving him so he could catch on with another team, and we needed to clear some space for an incoming trade. Tim says, look up Jack Devine. I hope we give him a contract, plays Maurice style to the T, plays like Chucky with a better D. Chucky D. That sounds like a rapper's name, Chucky D. So let's see, Jack Devine. Nope. Let me see. Okay. They have him as an American ice hockey athlete. They don't have his position. So he's in the University of Denver. He was drafted 21st or 221st. right? 5'11", 180. Yeah, I'll have to check him out. I mean, I guess he's a few years away. In his last 10 games, he's got 5 goals, 5 assists. He's playing at the University of Denver. So that could be somebody in the future. I agree. He's only 21. Apparently, they have him listed as a very slippery skater. Zito can draft. Zito can draft. I wish we could draft some I wish he could draft some defensemen, because eventually we're going to run out of spots on the forward group, right? It's all right, Rosado. It's cool. Shit happens. Nothing bad, Rosado. It just wasn't. Sometimes it's just not. Yeah, you're talking about Boquist running the power play. Yeah, no doubt. He's got the offensive ability. Chopper says, "Can we waive Schmidt, please?" I don't think that's going to happen. I think the goal would be that Schmidt would likely be 8D, 7D, right? Because if you're going to bring in guys, you got to clear space because they're in the position we're in. And, we need another center for depth, for sure. I mean, we have nothing off the bench except for Gadjevich right now at all. So we got to do something there. And unless you can find something better, I think you're going to stick with Mikola Kulikov on the second pair. I don't, because we just don't have any assets to really go get a guy that much anyway. No, Rosado. No. Hey, thank you, John. Thank you, bud. Thank you. Hamburger Hut. He says, Bornquist scores tonight? Probably. What do you mean Zito can't develop, Rosado? What are you talking about? Huh? Hey, where's Frank? How you doing, Frank? Who's going to be shocked when we trade for Roman Yossi? I don't know, man. Donis, you went to Denver for college, but he's a very good prospect for Denver. You and your best friend know about him. Very cool. That's funny, Dave. Thomas says we need bigger players on defense. Look at Vegas. Yeah. Bigger. Well, we'll see. Because I'm thinking about the numbers. You already cleared Boquist out, right? So now you've got nothing off the bench, but you've got a little bit more space. So makes me wonder how they're going to, if they go to add a bottom pair guy. I guess if they added a bottom pair guy, I don't know who they're going to move off the ice, whether it be Schmidt or Balinskis. I guess it depends on what we get. Yeah, Yosik would cost a lot. Michael says, Nosek is fine. You were just spoiled with Stenlin. Bokus was fine. Remember when Ekblad was worse than Bornfoot? Well, it just depends on what we're getting in, Michael. You know what I mean? It depends on if Zito's planning on making a move, which the only reason to waive Boquist like that is because we got something incoming. For all we know, he's looking at getting in 2 defensemen, right? Which but we'll see. I mean, Boquist has bounced around a bunch. Yeah, I saw that, Rosado, right? March 7th, I think, figure. Vincent says when you have a lazy GM, you learn to love Schmidt. NHL trade deadline. When is it? Come on. March 7th. Yeah, trade deadline's March 7th. Yeah, give Weeks back. Rasmus Anderson, that's another name, but probably not. Tim says, I like that St. Martin kid, small but great shot and great hands. Yep. Zito's got some good forwards coming up. Really does. Let's see how I think he's small-ish. Let me see. Let's see what his size is. Hunter St. Martin. Was he a 6th-round pick? Let's see. He's 6'2", 185 pounds. He needs to put on some weight. That's like Borgstrom size, right? Yeah, he's 6'2", 185 pounds. If he can put a little bit of weight on, he'd be okay. Remember, Borgstrom could never put on weight, but he's also only 19 years old, right? He's also only 19 years old. Give him a few years of getting in the gym. Vince, you say bad skater? Mind you, loose to Ryan and gotcha, Rosato. Can we make Uyghur a forward? Yeah, give him a little bit of time, right? Chopper, no, I know. I'm just saying that Borgstrom could never put on any weight. Like even as he got older, he could just never put on any weight. Tom says the Calgary team looks slow. Watched them last night. Vancouver might still take that spot back, right? Frank says can't get too heavy, otherwise she'll be slow. Yeah, but at 19, I mean, I hear what you're saying. At 19, there's plenty of room there. There's plenty of room there for the dude to improve, right? You know, I mean, you still got, generally speaking, you still got 4 or 5 years, really, at 3 at the most. I mean, so that's it. I've heard some good things about him from other people too. Yeah. Michael, 180 pounds. I think that's what Borgstrom was like 180 pounds. Michael, you know, I thought that, but that's the same, that the 180, I think that's Adam Boquist too. 180 sounds like it's not a lot. What happened to, Brett Connolly. Yeah, hard no on Uyghur. Give him protein and jacked. Did we trade Borg? No, I think we just let Borgstrom go. Did we trade him or did we just let him go? Borgstrom. Michael says, I'm as tall as Mikula now. When I was 6'2", but I was 185 when I was in 7th grade. Well, when I was in the Air Force, I was 5'6", 204. I was beefcake. I'm not fat. I'm festively plump. I wasn't fat. I went in. Oh, thank you, Eyes. We traded Borgstrom to the Hawks. I went into the Air Force. I was 152 pounds for Carlson and Walmart. Good call there, Rosato. I couldn't remember that far back. I went in the Air Force at 152. And when I got to my regular base, I only worked Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I would go to breakfast and go to the gym. I go to work and I go to lunch. I do the rest of the work. I go back to the gym 2 days. I go back to eat dinner, walk home, and then I would go back up to the dining hall like 10 o'clock when the midnight meal started and go get free dessert. It was just all buffet, all you could eat buffet. So all of a sudden I was at the gym twice a week or twice a day. I didn't really skip many days because you're 18, 19 years old, just eating all that food, working out twice a day. I just blew up. Ollie Ulevi. That name sounds familiar. Yeah, that name sounds familiar, but that was a while ago, right? That's right. Lucas Carlson and Walmart, or the Connolly deal. Yeah, it's been a while. And then he never made it. I don't think he's playing anywhere, right? I think somebody said he's playing over in Russia or somewhere over in Europe. Let's see. Got Ollie from Vancouver. Let's see. Henrik Borgstrom. Let's see. Did I get the right guy? Yeah, here we go. They actually gave it to me. Let's see. Where is this dude now? He's damn. He didn't really fill out 6'3", 199, but that's not too bad. So where is he now? Let's see. He is he spent that poor kid, man. So after he went to Chicago, he played with Chicago for a hot minute, was a -14. Then he played for the Capitals for a game. Then he's with the Hershey Bears, and he wasn't great, wasn't terrible. Then the SHL and EHT league last year, and now this year he's in the SHL, and he's got 18 goals and 40 points in 40 games. So he's finally a point per game player. Henrik Borgstrom is finally a point per game player. Mike says, I remember all the fans complaining about Lucas Carlson not getting a shot. It was so weird, Carlson. It's like he didn't look bad when he was on the ice, but then nobody else wanted to give him a shot. You know, and there's things that we don't know behind the scenes, right? I mean, it's like Boquist. He doesn't look bad when he's on the ice. Oh, I says Borgstrom won a Calder Cup with the Hershey Bears, even assisted on the overtime cup winning goal. That's cool. Yeah, it only took him busting around for 4 or 5 years. The McDonald's Hockey League. Oh, man. Someone else says, how do I feel about our prospect pool as a whole? I love the forwards. I think we've got forwards coming out of our yin-yang, which is good. You know, and when you combine the forwards that we have with the group that we already have signed, it's like we're set. We're pretty set. Goaltending is not sure, other than Spencer Knight, obviously, but he's not necessarily a prospect anymore. Defensively, I know people like Megna, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's not. I would suspect, I wish Zito would have actually spent a little bit more capital on defensemen because they take longer to develop. But he's also been proven pretty adept at picking guys off the waiver wire and getting free agents to come. So I think you'll see, I think that's how we'll have to fill the gaps, right? You're high on what's it? Alcher? Mike says Guzda, Cooper Black, and the Russian in net for the prospect pool. It's not bad, but Guzda's not. I don't even know if he's playing, let alone playing well. That's part of. Now I know people are liking Cooper Black, but Guzda. Let me see if I'm remembering this correctly, because I think we looked at this a little while ago, and yeah, I don't know if he's hurt or what happened. The last numbers that Guzda has are the 23-24 Charlotte Checkers, which was he played 2 games. So where's he playing? That's what I couldn't find. Where's Guzda playing now? They've got him on the Checkers here, but I'm not seeing the last time he's played. Oh, here they go. He's got no stats for this year at all. Guzda. He played 2 games last year and not at all this year. So I don't know if he's hurt or what. Where do I get my player stats? I Google it, and then whatever comes up that looks like, there's a few. I like to look at it, Elite Prospects, because they give you a little bit more in-depth information. Is that the name? Elite Prospects. They give you a little bit more in-depth information. They got scouting reports sometimes. I like to use that a lot. Puckpedia I've started using. But yeah, Matt Guzda injury. Let's see. There's nothing new here. There's nothing new. Hey, Spaceman Derek, how you doing, bud? Chopper says, I'm going to start saying unknown NHL players until Jaws remembers one of them. You're gonna mess with an old man's memory on a Sunday morning? Brian, are you talking about Marchment? I think you meant to say Marchment. I says, goalie Matt Guzda, who has not played since last October after sustaining what has been described as a back hip injury while with Charlotte. Yeah. So I hear what you're saying about Marchment. I think we kind of got him with Rodriguez. I think that was kind of, a little bit of different player. Obviously, Rodriguez, I don't think is as big as Marchment. He was a big dude. And no doubt a Lundell, Luostarinen, Marchment line, that could be a beast. That's a good dude. He's doing okay, right? Spaceman says Otto was looking scarier. Yeah, they don't look bad. I'm not exactly screaming for that first round matchup. You know what I mean? Playing them in the first round. Somebody's going to get Juho Lammikko. I remember Lammikko. Yeah. Kyle, tell Kyle the Jackson 5 are going to be playing in SeaWorld. Well, what is the Jackson 5 now? What even would be the Jackson 5 at this point? I remember like who? Heponiemi. I have a signed card of his, Heponiemi, somewhere downstairs. Michael says, Erod and Bennett are the best zone entry players we have. I just wish Bennett would stop trying to split the D. There's two. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't do it as much as he had been, but like just dump the puck in. Last night he tried to stick handle through 4 guys. It was just him and the box. And he literally tried to stick handle through the entire 4 guys. And of course, he lost the puck and it went back the other way. Minnow says Appleby has the third best goals against for goalies in the AHL right now, 2.17. That's good. Brian, so yeah, we're definitely streaming all of the 4 Nations games. I would be surprised, honestly, if the United States, I think the United States got a pretty good roster, right? I think they've got a pretty strong roster. Hey, thank you, Great White. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Great White. Appreciate that, bud. 58. Who's the team MVP up to this point in the season? That's a good question. You got to go with Sam Reinhart, though. Once you think about it for a half a second, it would have to be Sam Reinhart, right? I mean, Barkov's playing well, but I think Reinhart, when you take into consideration everything he does, yeah. Do I remember Chris Gratton? I don't think so. Heiskin is out for Finland, so the defense is looking rough. Cade, yeah. Somebody in the chat earlier had said that on the Draisaitl goal that it cost them money. Mike says, between you and Kyle, who's going to do the enchantments to protect the players during the Four Nations tournament? Fluffy's got that covered. Fluffy's got that covered. He won't let anything happen. Oh, great. Why he was on the Bolts? Gotcha. The more I thought about it, it's like, I know I'm worried about guys getting hurt, but I just can't imagine that the physicality is going to be that much, because you're going to have guys on the same team playing guys, they're going to be playing against each other, but they're on the same NHL team. I think that dynamic will kind of temper the physicality a little bit. And as long as nobody gets hurt blocking a shot or something stupid like that, I just don't think the physicality is going to be all that much. I hope so. Hope not. The jerseys are nice. I like the Canadian jerseys. The United States, they didn't put any bling along the collar. They needed to have white along the collar. Without the white there, the red and the blue just don't pop as much as it should, my opinion. Not that I'm a big jersey freak, but Canada's is tight. I like Canada's jersey. If I was Canadian, I would buy one of those. But I'm not. Brian says Chucky should have been the captain over Matthews. Dude hasn't won anything, but they're just giving him the C for the name. I don't disagree there. I don't disagree. Right? But, especially since he plays for a Canadian team, so I agree with there. Cordial says it'd be cool if they had Germany, Czech, Russia, and Norway for an 8 nations tournament. I think the only problem there would just be, when do you have it? Right? Because that'd be a lot more games middle of the season. I'd like something like that as preseason. We've talked about that before here, right? Michael says, do I think Chucky's going to get fat like his dad did when he retires? I think so. I mean, it might not happen because, athletes have different, I guess it depends on what he does, right? Like, I think he has the possibility. He has the capability. Obviously, you can see when he gains a little bit of weight, those cheeks get a little bit chubby. I guess it just depends on what he does after hockey. If he's going to stay in the public eye, then maybe he won't, But who knows? He may beat the crap out of his body to the point where he may not. He's like, I ain't getting on no exercise bike ever again, Matthew's going on LTIR after breaking a toenail. Favorite SeaWorld show was always the old Cirque de Mir. I don't know if you ever saw that one, Rosado. It used to be a show there called Cirque de Mir. I think that's what it was. That was far and away the best thing that they've had at that one pavilion. Yeah, Michael says, Walt pushed himself so hard that I think when he was done, he said, okay, that's it. No more exercise. It happens, man. You abuse your legs like that. You've made your money. You're happily content and married, and mama don't care if you get a dad bod. There's not a whole lot of motivation left to get on that bike. You know what I mean? Ryan says, let's see Brady and Matthew on the same line. Oh, I'm sure we're going to see all sorts of fun combinations, right? I'm sure we will. It's good stuff. But, just being the other thing that I was kind of thinking, though, it may, I know there's the angle that you want you guys to get rest and everything like that. But I also wonder if, because half the team practically is in the Four Nations, I wonder if when we come back from the break that we won't be as rusty as some of the other teams, because half of our guys may have continued to play. JC, Kyle's actually in the shower. Mike says, Walt was fat before he retired. He caught a lot of attention when he showed up to camp fat as hell. Michael says, do you want to run a 5K for a subscriber meetup? I'm doing the Two Bears. Man, I can't run a 5K. I could walk. I walk 5 to 10 miles every night. But my knees, I can't. My knees and hips, I I don't even know if I could run a 40 at this point without pulling something. My joints, I did all the things, right? I was a bodybuilder. I played soccer. I played football. I was the catcher on the baseball team. Judo. My knees and joints are shot like in WOG. When is that, Michael? When is that? I've never thought of doing something like that. It's an interesting thought. You expect me to remember if Grattan was ever on the Panthers? Who are we talking about? You tested my memory this morning. I'm hungry. I need to eat. I got leftovers from the other night. I made bacon stuffed chicken breast, and the chicken breast was soaked in red wine. It's good. Chris Grattan. I don't even remember the name. When was this? Was this during the dead years? Because during the dead years, while I was raising kids, I was paying attention, but not nearly as much as I am now. Well, he's 49. Let's see. It only shows here that he was on the Lightning. Or let me see. That's when he joined the Lightning. Let's see. He played 1,100 games. Yeah, he played. Yeah, exactly. The dead years. He played 2 seasons with us, 2005 and 2006. He had a couple goals. He wasn't bad. Oh, Jesus, he had a lot of penalty minutes. Yeah. I mean, some of the from like when Matthias was born. Matthias was born in 2004. And so I would say until about 2007, 2008, I watched when I could, but Matthias, basically we kind of knew when he came out about the autism. So like from 2004 to 2007, 8, that's when I went to massage school and all of that. I don't remember shit. I don't remember anything. Yeah, the retirement contract team. I remember bits and pieces, but when you have that third kid, for any of you who got 1 kid or 2 kid, when you had the third kid, it was rough because Kyle was going through some of the hard parts with his autism at that point. Matthias was kind of came out that way. And then we had the daughter in the middle. And so you're talking about 2 boys with autism and the daughter in the middle, and she would act out so she would get attention because otherwise we were so focused on the boys. I mean, I lost track of everything, especially the Dolphins at that point, right? Cade said, remember when the Panthers had Bertuzzi for a tiny number of games before he got hurt and screwed off to Detroit? Good times. Yeah, that was the Luongo thing, right? That was when we sent Luongo packing because we were stupid. And then he hurt his back, and then that was it. Yeah. Host a pickleball or a game of flag football. Pickleball sounds like my speed, man. We got a lot of people that play pickleball. I go to the YMCA in the morning, and I mean, they've got 6 courts, 8 courts, and it's packed. It's packed. Sorry about that, 58. Oh, it was signed during the summer of the 05 lockout. That makes sense. Yeah. Keenan rejected Luongo for Joe Thornton and Luongo for Chris Pronger straight up. Oh, jeez. Jesus. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for all the super chats. Much, much, much appreciated. I got to go eat. Now I'm definitely woozy. And I guess it's 6 o'clock tonight. I believe that's it. 6 o'clock. We should be good to go. I'll make sure Kyle is on time. Yeah, 6 o'clock. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Nobody has to watch the Chiefs cheat today. So that's a good day. Appreciate all the support. Thank you again. And 4-point weekend. It's got to be a 4-point weekend. It has to happen.